Have fun.
Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2021. We have bracket round 2 for you today. It's game 1 between Spyweaver and ssbmOro. Commentating for us, we have Zethno and Mayin DM. He just told me how to say it too. And tracking is Professor Pixie. Say hello everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm Zethno. How are you doing, my India?
I am doing well. I was rushing to get here, but the cleanup after dinner can wait for later because we've got a hype match here.
I'm actually pretty close to the same position. But yeah, this should definitely be an interesting race. It's also a game 1, so I wonder if we'll see anything risky to both players or if they're just going to play normal and just see how things fall for game 1.
I think we've gotten a little bit of just about everything this tournament. Some people I know have been really kind of trying to study their opponents, know what tendencies are, and some of them say, nope, I'm just going to play my game and let the chips fall where they may, because if I try and play anybody else's game, well, I'm no good at it.
Yeah, metagaming is a whole topic to discuss, and it's always an interesting thing, and sometimes it can work out, but a lot of the time you're thinking so much about what your opponent is going to do that you forget what you need to.
And yeah, it's one more thing to keep track of, and not everybody can do it.
No, and a lot of the time, if you know your routes, you know what works out the majority of the time. And, as long as you know what the best option is at any particular time. Wow, that was fast. I totally missed that map check. But as long as you know the best thing to do at any particular time, you can just follow along with what you know is right. We got a hammer today.
Yeah, hammer's not a bad start at all. Reusable weapon, you can farm through the prize packs as much as you desire.
Speaking of prize packs, I don't think we've seen... Ooh, small magic. That's a bomb pack.
Yeah, that's the low value pack. I believe the bomb in there is drop number 6. So it takes a little while, but with the hammer you can just keep going at guards.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see when you start with something like Cane of Burna, but
yeah, Cane of Burna, Fire Rod, a little less helpful when you're in the low value pool there, but
Yeah, I don't really like it with the bombs either. When you have 10 bombs, you have a limited number that you can use, and those rats in the back can be kind of funny sometimes.
They definitely do not always cooperate.
I was just saying, Spy actually picked up those pots, wow, and had to go back because he's just trying to kill some extra guards.
Still seems to be making his way through here relatively cleanly, though.
Yeah, he actually had looks like a second or 2 lead, so going back didn't make too big of a difference. The Oro did do a map check already, so that's probably the reason for the few second difference.
I think that was the second small magic in this pack, the one right before the bomb that spawned on the bottom of Spy's screen there, so I think his next actual 50-50 drop in this pack is going to be the bomb he's looking for.
Well, that's good for him. I assume Oro will get it too, knowing the runners both... Wow, we got some sync now. The runners both likely knowing that bomb is in this pack, which is why both of them are going out of their way to kill some extra guards.
It seems like Spy's been trying to be a little bit more thorough about it than Oro has, but, with all the ropes coming up in the basement, it's, it's pretty easy to get a whole bunch of kills in quick succession there.
For sure. If you get the ones that are in your way, and you get to that room, you've got, 6 enemies? 8 enemies in that room?
You have 6 there, and then 3 more in the follow-up room, Dark Cross.
Yeah, so odds are you'll get a few drops, so it shouldn't be too big a deal. Once in a while, the game is mean, though.
Yeah, every once in a while you start feeling like, I know this enemy can't be in the prize pack that has nothing in it, but it sure feels like it is because I've killed 10 of them and nothing has dropped.
Yeah, the wrong end of that 50-50 over and over and over again.
It's kind of like those 50-50 bushes there to the south of the grove, where you see people go back and forth 5 times before they finally find a bomb.
Yeah, the one right outside the bombable hut in Kakariko feels the same way a lot of the time too. You try to grab it to open that door, and nope. But Spy finds a bomb.
I think that Oro's most recent drop was the arrows, so it still has 1 drop to go, and then the bomb will be after that.
But as you said, the ropes in the room coming up in 2 rooms, there's too many enemies in there for him to run into an issue, hopefully. That is not a commentator curse.
And if not, of course, we still have the rat prize pack to look into.
That's true too. Maybe it's just the bomb pack.
It wouldn't be the first time, and yep, there it is, small magic and bomb for Oro. Neither of our runners missing the bomb in the escape sequence today.
I think that's a below average number of drops for Oro in that room, but still gets it, which is what's important.
Not really getting a whole lot of additional information out of the escape sequence just yet. I mean, we do have those 3 in the back. We do have the poor box in the sanctuary, but so far the seed not really giving our runners a whole lot to go on.
No, I will point out that Spy is on 1 heart. I doubt that's going to... Ooh, he's having a little bit of issues with these rats here on half a heart. That is 2 hits, but from the rats, but still.
Well, as long as he gets into the side room here, there are 2 hearts on, at least 2 hearts under pots. I don't know that I've ever had to pick up any more than that. But yeah, that glove there is pretty handy.
That could be super important depending on where the other items are. That's a nightmare scenario for a runner that misses the bomb with the glove in here that the seed expects you to get, and you have to walk all the way through escape to get it a second time.
And Oro just killed a rat and showed us that they were in fact in the bomb pack, so I think Spy probably would have been okay in the alternate universe we're postulating, where he didn't get that bomb before Oro did.
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of bombs in escape then. But you don't want to wait till that point. You don't want to gamble on the rats having it, especially when you know that the guards already had one, because there are only the 3 packs with bombs. So it looks like Oro will not be checking Lumberjack Ledge.
It's a choice. It'll save you about 20 seconds if you don't find a way to route it in later, and it is something. It can lose you 10 or 15 minutes. And, you know, more often than not, it's nothing, but every once in a while.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice one way or the other. It feels like it loses a lot of time early. And you probably, like, what a lot of runners do is when they find the boots, you end up going back because you want to do bonk rocks, and you loop it in then because you move faster. But yeah, sometimes, as you said, if the boots don't show up for a while, then you're stuck wondering.
Yeah, if you don't get the boots for a while, and or you don't get the mirror so that you can check it when you're checking the bumper cave ledge later on.
That's true too.
And we should probably mention that in the forest drop there was a sword that both of our runners now have in hand.
Yeah, that's a bit of an important item. I think it is required for us to have a sword, right?
Well, you're going to want one sooner or later. You know, you have to be on at least Master Sword to damage Ganon at the end of the game, and it makes a lot of things a whole lot nicer. You don't have to hit everything with that wonky hammer hitbox. Once you find the boots, you can actually dash around and not worry about running into everything.
Now, I am going to mention that we have a prediction going in chat, so if you have some channel points and you get these just from watching, so if you have an account and you've been logged in on this stream, you have them, go make a prediction. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, personally, I think that my bracket, which is looking worse and worse by the day, has Spy winning this matchup, but, you know, that's not a given. We've already seen some upsets in this tournament, and I expect plenty more to come before all is said and done.
Yeah, when I looked at the group stages before we started commentating this. Spy had a really rough group bracket. Oro is the higher seed coming in here because they actually won their bracket. But Spy had a rough group. And we found flippers. No fake flippers today.
Yeah, flippers are a nice early get. It's always a little difficult to kind of make that determination. What exactly is this item pointing at when I get it this early? Is the game just putting it there because with the hammer and glove, early Dark World access is already a thing and maybe we're going to need that to do some swimming? Or is it just on the early flipper checks in the life world?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the flippers and Dark World. It's something that doesn't come up all that often, but once in a while, having those flippers that actually we have hammers, so it's not that relevant either. I was going to say it can get you access to Eastern Dark World, but we have the hammer, which does that too.
Yep, have the hammer, have the glove. Flipper's a little less important in that one particular case, but yeah, you know, it's one of those good things to bear in mind. It's one of those things that can trip up a new rando runner.
For sure. I think in our case, the biggest thing that it really gives us access to is Waterfall.
Yep, waterfalls or ledge, hobo, those are the easy light world checks. If we find another glove somewhere and we've got either bombos or the fire rod, maybe it's actually just pointing at Ice Palace. You know, the mirror could say Corrupt Swamp might have something.
Did you see that?
I did not see that, but I think Spy's about to show me.
Yeah, this is an important item. I'll preface it that way.
Ah, yes, it is.
That is a Moon Pearl.
100% required if you're not playing something like Lightspeed.
Ooh, so boots required. You know, we already have we have a comment in chat saying early boots, but you know this could be somewhere as far as Pyramid Ledge.
It could be, but the game does need to hand out a few things yet for that to happen, either another sword or the cape and the lamp.
Of course. There's a lot of items, but, you know, I know chat likes Aga seeds, so I thought I'd mention. Cheers. We have an even better prediction in chat that it's in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's something I probably wouldn't get to for quite a long time as a runner. You're not going to check that.
Looks like the dam not really paying out here. If you happen to like your shields, the first of the three is in there, and a piece of heart beside, not really pointing you in any particular direction, so the walk right over here to Mini Moldorm Cave is, you know, kind of the standard book play.
Yeah. And having a sword, having hammer, having some extra bombs, they're perfectly equipped to do this too. This first Moldorm in the center with hammer can be very annoying.
I will admit to having taken a death to that with exactly that equipment set somewhat recently.
Yeah, I've done it on stream or on restream, but. That's why it's nice. So the big thing to mention here as Oro is heading over to Ice Rod Cave is that these crabs do 2 hearts of damage. It's very easy to take a death here.
Yep, done that recently too.
Oop. Oh, nice. Spy taking a little bit of a damage off one of the other enemies there. I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah, that was definitely an intentional damage boost off of that buzz blob to not take the crab damage.
Yeah, that was very smart. It takes half a heart instead of 2 hearts. That was a nice crab kill on the Spy side, that last one. Magic powder in Ice Rod Cave. Okay.
Well, I mean, you already have the hammer in hand. It does unlock a check. And it looks like both of our runners want to go ahead and go for a little dip here.
This makes a lot of sense.
I always feel a little hesitant about this when I don't have Zora money, because when are you actually getting back there?
I fully agree with you. My only concern is they really don't have all that much left. And the one thing that I would say is maybe the boots push you that way because it's actually in logic. Yep, that's important. We found boots. We have Moon Pearl. We have Dark World access.
Sub 15-minute Dark World access, you can't really complain, although, well, no blue mail yet, 5 hearts. Dark World's a little dangerous.
Yeah, you could say that again. But it's good for both our runners here. Neither one decided to skip Hobo in favor of the Zora area first. That could have
I feel especially when you're missing the Zora money, making all of the checks first in case a 3 hundo shows up somewhere makes a whole lot of sense.
I agree with you. It can definitely be important. Unfortunately, in this case, that 300 wouldn't have made it to 5, but you could always find something along the way. A lot of drop packs have rupees in them.
And Spy, deciding to take a little side path there to the Bonk Rocks, finds an extra hundo.
He didn't check Lumberjack Ledge, did he?
I do not believe so.
That's interesting. That's when I see most runners check Lumberjack if they're not going to do it early. You're in the area and you have boots. Meanwhile, Oro, also taking a bit of a side road, goes to Magic Bat. Spy gonna follow.
Yeah, there's a belief in at least some portions of the community that early fetch quests are more likely to pay out, and going and checking the magic bag since you're already over here picking up your moon portal anyway makes a whole lot of sense. Just didn't happen to work out this time.
Yeah, you're barely going out of your way, especially when you're checking Sickid too. Speaking of that little bit of money to get you within 300 range of Zora. Oro heading right up into the Dark World.
Yep, no surprise here at all. You know, you're right on top of this portal already. Not really a whole lot of reason to go running around to pick one of the other lower world ones.
Yep. Now my question is, do you check the front of Skullwoods? Thieves Town Pod, Reds, and Ice Palace Turtle Rock pendants.
My personal preference on that check in this situation would be no. It's a check that I like to make more often when I do not have the hammer, when I have the Myths Dark World access and want to try and find the hammer before going into Thieves Town. But you know, some runners really like to just go in and have that quick look at the front of Skullwoods, and we'll see. Spy is going to maybe show us the alternate play here very shortly. Also a little bit of good game knowledge that you can bonk that tree for a full magic decanter.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Gonna get the map check there too. Quick map check. And looks like we are seeing some route divergence. Some real route divergence rather than north and south Light World route to CAC. Now we do know that Spy will almost definitely be doing what Oro is doing in minutes.
Doesn't look like the Village of Outcasts overworld checks really paid out in anything.
No. But Thieves Town is a crystal, and a red one at that.
Have a sword, have the hammer, you know you don't have to leave anything behind. Everything in your inventory you need to complete it. Now is the time.
Yeah, this being one of the bosses that you actually don't mind fighting with a fighter sword. Because 3 hits in each phase, doesn't matter what you hit him.
One of the pun texts is, any old sword will make the cut here. And that is in fact true truth.
Spy gonna go grab the extra key. Interesting.
That is kind of an interesting time to do that, since you already found the 1 key in the Vanilla Big Key chest. While Oro continues to turn up nothing in the front portion there of Thieves Town. You know, you don't necessarily get to complain too much. It is that crystal that you do need to beat the game eventually anyway, but you kind of hope that your progression is just along the way in Pendant Dungeons. In Crystal Dungeons, rather.
Yeah. And we've got both items out of Skull Woods, bombs and a lamp. That lamp is not necessarily required yet, but is very nice, even if it's not.
It is one of those nice quality of life items, and at this point it's also first fire source, so, you know, we can get through fire-locked rooms now.
Yes, that definitely helps. I can go check Bumper Ledge. Not going to be doing that today. We got the cape on Oro's side in the attic.
Well, that could have saved Oro some time if something happened to be there, but Spy has shown us that it's nothing.
It's a good combination of runners, one getting the cape while the other checking the cape lock location.
I guess you could call it sync of a sort.
Yeah. I'm just going to say that at least Spy now knows that he doesn't need to go back up for that. Oh. We're still short a small key here.
And this is the last available location for it.
Oh, it's there. We're checking.
And yeah.
Chest.
Yeah, because of the key logic, that small key cannot be in the attic, so, you know, if you don't have it by the time you make it to the maiden cell, that's really your last chance to find it, and unfortunately, it feels like more often than not, that's just where it is.
We're going to run along the belt here. It is faster, once you know what you're doing, and don't fall into the pit 7 times.
It's fewer screen transitions, you don't have to relift that steel plate, and it makes a lot of sense to go that way, even if you don't have the boots. Regarding the Spike Cave logic, you are correct. You need either the Cane of Burna, or the cape and some form of magic extension. In this case, a bottle with a magic refilling potion counts.
A pretty good blind fight there out of Oro. Still full health.
Any blind fight you can walk away from with full health is one you're going to be happy with, and that is the first crystal of the game there for Oro at 22 minutes and 38 seconds.
Spy not going to be too far behind here. Spy will also know when he gets back to Skull Woods that there's no items left, and we'll just head straight for Mothula. Digging game. Will we have a lot or a little? Will the game be nice to us?
I feel like more often than not it's kind of somewhere in the middle in that 12 to 16 or so range. You really remember the short ones and the long ones, but I think that overall it tends to be fairly middling.
That kind of makes sense. Yeah, that one I think was about 14, so that fits. The really horrible ones is when you have something like 30 digs and it digs up a green rupee at the end.
Or a heart piece that gives you a refill that you didn't need, something along those lines.
Yep. Ooh, fire. Oh, fire run. Well, it will point Oro back to Skull Woods.
Of course, at the same time, it gives logical access to most of Palace of Darkness, and, you know, probably just going to continue the route in that direction is what I would expect.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
Especially if Hype Cave happens to turn up something like a bow.
Or the mirror?
The mirror is nice, and Oro is Rage Slash there because Oro appears to be out of explosives at the moment.
Thankfully, there is a bomb shop right here that very few runners actually end up buying normal bombs at, but is an important bomb shop.
It will happily fill your bombs. Of course, when you're still sitting there at your maximum capacity of 10, it is twice as expensive as finding another bomb shop somewhere else. It does have the advantage of being close to Hype Cave, however.
And that really should be enough bombs for the majority of the rest of the game at this point. Especially with the boots, to get the bonkable walls out. We found another sword. That is a good Hype Cave. We found mirror and a sword.
Mirror and a sword is pretty good. Oro probably not the happiest that there were 2-3 bomb packs in there. If they'd come with just one more bomb, they could have gotten the refill they needed and not spent the hundo. But, you know, that's how rando goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's been a little low. I'm not sure if you noticed a comment in chat, but you should watch the blind pun we got here on Spy Side.
Well, the commentator is secretly a warlock, that's okay.
you predicted that one.
And still sitting on 6 hearts, Oro decides, yes, I want that blue mail.
Oh, I 100% agree with the mail. Mail upgrades are always helpful. The pieces of heart, a lot of people won't go out of their way for. If you have enough hearts, a lot of people will avoid the full hearts too, but mails are just helpful in a lot of ways.
And there's Spy evening that crystal count back up at 26 minutes and a half, both of our runners having now cleared Thieves Town.
Will Catfish give us something, or will this have been a very long walk for absolutely nothing? Per usual. Yep.
Looks pretty scammy. And personally, I think I might have picked that 20 up since Oro is sitting a couple of rupees short of money to get into Palace of Darkness right now.
Oh, that's true. That's something that a lot of runners will forget about every once in a while. But
I've done it, and thus did not get an out-of-logic bow in a sequence break of pod, and instead found the logical one over on Pendant Laser Bridge when race. I was not pleased.
Yeah, that's one of those cases where it's really nice to get the out-of-logic item. Now, that is a really nice item on Zora Ledge, though.
No runner going to complain about getting full Dark World access before 30 minutes. All the options available, now you just have to go chase them all down.
Yeah, we got hits at 2750. That prediction is still ongoing, by the way, for anyone that has joined us. We do have a prediction still on who is going to win, so put your channel points in. Oro currently in the lead.
Well, I'd call it a lead-ish, but we will recall that Spy has already found both of the items in Skull Woods, has made a couple of other Northern Light and Dark World checks that Oro has not made yet, and looks to be making around now.
Yes, and you pointed out that it wasn't clear. I meant he's in the lead for the prediction, not the actual race. That's definitely on me. Because I'm sure if you thought that, there's definitely some of our viewers that heard that too. Yes, he's in the lead in the predictions.
Spy seeing something that looked like a rupee there of some value on Hylia Island?
I didn't quite actually see it. Piece of heart on the island from our chat, so nothing.
Ah, there we go.
Spy not grabbing armor.
That's how quickly those items that aren't actually important go straight out of the brain. Oh, it was something there, but no runner's actually going to spend the mirror transition to go get it, so what was it again?
Forget that. It's easy to forget it as a runner after you picked up an item, and then you're starting to go, how many items did I pick up in this dungeon? I don't remember what the first chest had.
Oh, for sure, especially if there's some kind of interesting bit of tech that you don't often do in the middle of it. Like, let's say you get some item that may have some level of value to you in the first chest of Ice Palace, but you don't have the red cane, so you have to do the Ice Palace bomb jump and you fail it a couple of times and you get a little tilted, and by the time you get to any more chests, you've kind of forgotten what that first chest had.
Yep. Now, Spy did not go to Catfish, but Oro is now going towards Skull Woods after having found that fire rod earlier.
The lack of trip to Catfish is not really the problem on Spy's part. It's the fact that he has not continued that play into the Zora area to get the mitts, so this is at least probably one more trip up the mountain than he might otherwise have to make.
But that is an important item up on Spectacle Rock. There is a cane of Samaria and a bottle inside it. Not going for the bottle, but we'll definitely pick up the cane of Samaria. It is required for today's race for Misery Mire. And as you were just mentioning, very helpful to do Icebreaker in Ice Palace.
It doesn't really do anything for you in the light world, aside from some edge cases like you're going into Mini Moldorm Cave without any other weapon. You can make the block and throw it around and explode it, but in the dark world, it does little things like hold down a couple of different switches, all the way through letting you do Diver Down and Icebreaker, and being actually logically fully required to get through Mire and Turtle Rock. It is kind of the dark world item of choice.
We're all having a little bit of issues with this movement here in this room. Just going to go the long way. The only other place I'd say the Cane of Samaria actually comes in a lot of handy is the room that both runners have done, and it is that room in Skull Woods that normally has, I believe it's the Big Key?
That is the vanilla Big Key room, you are correct.
Which nobody likes doing without Samaria, because the two Gibdos in that room are two of the meanest enemies in the game.
It's one of the few rooms that actually makes me want to boomerang every once in a while. You know, aside from that iron one with the chain attached to it and the red block that goes boyoyon, that's my favorite boomerang.
We have Mothula on Oro's side. Spy in position for the bomb jump. That is a really rough jump to miss.
2 floors and a long climb of shame back if you miss it.
He did use the spin setup on the edge, so once that was set up, he knew he was safe, which is always nice.
And Oro, only 2 hearts of damage from the Moth, has received the map and second crystal of the match there.
And here's Moldorm. Unfortunately, with only his 2 usual eyes today, because there's no Randomizer.
A very normal looking and cooperative worm, and a piece of heart.
Now, I'm not quite sure how many items Spy found in here.
I'm also not sure, and we'll probably find out here in the very near future if he decides to go back in for the basement.
Our tracker, Professor Pixie, letting us know there is something in the basement.
And based on the information Spy has, this is also a check that I would agree with. you don't know where your mitts are. Your mitts could just be here. Leaving them behind here is a very dangerous play, to say the least.
Definitely could be. Damn. Just
Of
trying
course,
to think
we
if
know
there's a
that.
good way.
Yeah, I mean, we know, of course, that those mitts are just sitting there on the Zora ledge waiting for him, but yeah, he hasn't gone there to get that information yet. And there are a handful of other items that it could be as well. It doesn't have to be mitts.
For sure, they're still looking for a lot of items. The thing is that this check does take quite a long time, but it will take quite a long time to get back here. So one way or the other, you're going to have to take the gamble of, is it something or is it not something? Not worth it.
Nope, no value there today.
Easy to make the hindsight call on that.
As Spy finishes that check, Oro has found the lamp there in Skullwoods and is going to continue along, probably go ahead and make the bumper ledge check now. And probably graveyard ledge as well, I would think.
Yes, this makes a lot of sense. Are we gonna finally see an Aga? Nope, no lumberjack ledge check. No one wants to look at that item.
I thought that Spy mirrored and checked that after... was I completely mistaken? Am I just seed bleeding already?
I don't remember seeing him do it. Maybe I just missed it. Our chat is also not sure. So, yeah, I was pretty sure he didn't have mirror when he was over there. So, because I remember mentioning he didn't do it when he did bonk rocks, and he didn't have mirror when he went to bumper ledge. So I don't think he could check it. I think this is Oro check. No, maybe Oro's gonna go up the mountain. Check it now. Check it now. Maybe not.
Yeah, no checks for you, but meanwhile Spy has found yet another sword and the ice rod. That ice rod, probably not the thing that he wants to be seeing at the moment with the pendant TR on the table.
No, that's an item I do not want to see when I see TR as a pendant. Because all of a sudden something can now be on Trinex or on Ped behind Trinex.
You know, it could just be that leftover spot that the game said, alright, well, the ice rod's not necessary, it could go here, but by the same token, you know, it was early enough. Maybe you're looking at a TR play.
Spike it. Oh, as I'm watching that, that's a bow, and Spy is very happy about this.
All of a sudden feels a whole lot better about not making that dip into pod during the play up through the pyramid ledge.
And pod is the red crystal. Always nice to see that. You can also do green pendant Easter while he's here if he really wants to. Now, he's in the right part of the world. Will he go to Catfish and then to Zora area?
I feel like Spy's kind of reached the point where he has orphaned that Catfish check a little too hard. One thing about orphaning a check is you kind of want to have in the back of your mind, when am I going to go back for this? And, you know, he does still have the Zora area checks, but, you know, just running up there from Pod is kind of time-consuming, not really a whole lot of fun. There are other denser checks that you can make instead. You feel maybe I can just flip her into the Zora area and be okay, and in this case he would be.
Yeah, if you do run up there even just to get that last one, you do have the 5 checks, but as you kind of mentioned, if you go in the light world, you can still get 4 of them. So, I don't know. I think if he goes in the light world, he's going to Super Orphan Catfish, which, as you mentioned, was nothing. Here's Moldorm.
Hi again, Moldorm. Seems to have cooperated for Oro every bit as well as for Spy, you know. We'll see if Oro also wants to make the basement run here. And bow-locked Pod, but that was an interesting first item to find.
That's a required and very useful item outside of that, too.
You're not going to get to Misery Mire without it. Well, at least not in this rule set.
I like the in this rule set, yes. There's definitely ways that anything we say that isn't possible, it is if you want to glitch enough. But in race rules, a lot of it is not. What just happened on Oro's side?
Oro got the iframes on that peg in a bad spot and was actually stuck on it.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Thankfully noticed relatively early in the sequence and was able to mirror out. If you don't have the mirror, then that's a real problem. That's a soft lock and a save and quit.
What is Spy doing?
Spy, I think, was remembering only after the fact that the pegs needed to be in the opposite direction if he wanted to go to the back of the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like he was going to set up for the Samaria clip. It is Samaria, right? The one that
there's a Samaria clip there.
It looked like he was setting up for the Samaria clip and then just changed his mind, or I'm not sure what happened there. Also falls into the pit, maybe a little aggravated from whatever. That was close. From whatever just happened in the room before. It's really easy to kind of be a little shaken from something that messes up to walk off the next ledge.
Yeah, seems to be a little wobbly on the inputs right at the moment, and that is not meant as any slight to Spy. I have that problem myself more often than I would like to admit. I have modified the controller more than a bit to try to prevent that, and, you know, still my fat thumbs keep getting in the way, so. By all means, it is just a thing that happens sometimes.
Oh no, it definitely is, especially as you're going through and something goes wrong, so your mind is elsewhere as you're going through the next room. It's really easy to do that. It was a little interesting with Spy there. He went back to go farm some rupees, and then immediately found more rupees than he needed.
Sometimes you're supposed to trust the game, and sometimes you can't trust the game an inch. That is the nature of Rando.
Here come the Dark World checks for Death Mountain, Oro's side. Well, never mind. Gonna do Light World first. This makes sense, but they will be coming up soon.
And Spy also pulled a mushroom out of the back of Palace of Darkness here.
Don't you love fetch quests?
Well, you know, since he already found that flute turning in the mushroom reasonably free and easy, just has to activate the flute first.
Very true. Also gives him a chance to go over and refill his one bottle if he ever wants to, but I think it's still full. Oro going to be coming out to grab that Dark World portal.
And then we'll go ahead and show us a handful of new checks here. Only going to get one of the 3 in Hookshot Cave with that bonk unless Oro is a hoverer. I am not aware if they are one way or the other. I think we have partisans of both players in chat who may well be able to inform us.
Oh no. Spy went to go set up the Samaria block for the backup pod and has no magic. Wasn't able to put down the block to set the switch.
Well, pushing the statue isn't all that much slower, and you do have to lift all of those pots either way anyway, so, you know, it's a couple of seconds. Which has never decided to any race ever, I promise. I've not had any ties in this tournament at all.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, in most cases, a few seconds won't make a difference, but a few seconds here and there, over and over again, can.
In fact add up eventually.
We did see Quake on Turtle Rock, but yeah, it's we definitely have throughout the tournament seen some close finishes, which definitely could be brought within tie range or have someone else win. If you take a look at, say, 20 seconds, you know, a few seconds here, a few seconds there. We're getting a Turtle Rock on Oro's side. He doesn't have the... Or, sorry, they don't have the bow yet. I apologize.
There is a member of the greater Rando community who has what he calls the TR rule, which is, if you're by TR, and you have all the things you need to go into TR, then you must.
Oop. Yeah.
It is mildly surprising, but of course from Oro's perspective, the flute is still outstanding, the bow is still outstanding, the hookshot is still outstanding. If you have the flute particularly, probably a Meyer play here makes more sense, but, you know, from the things that Oro knows, there are a lot of things that could still be in this dungeon.
Oh, for sure. I was just trying to think of what they could do, and there really isn't all that much. Desert's open to complete. A lot of the other dungeons are accessible, just not to complete.
Yeah, finding that bow in Spike Cave seems to have sent Spy on a very different journey than the one that Oro is currently having.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a very important bow. So we'll see when Oro gets around to checking in. I'm hoping after this check. It's also worth noting that they have both a fire and ice rod.
And that was the thing that we were talking about when that ice rod first showed up, you know. Sometimes the seed just needs somewhere to put an item that you don't need anyway, but sometimes it has put it in your way for a reason.
If only we knew as runners before we actually got to the location which one it was.
Having your hunches about that is one of the things that separates some of the really, really good runners of this game from the average ones like myself. Because I feel like whenever I make that guess, I'm always wrong.
I think if you talk to some of the really experienced runners, they'll say they feel there they end up with it wrong half the time too. That particular palette shuffle on Oro's side makes the lava very not lava-y. I'm trying to come up with the right adjective for that, and I don't have it.
That is some very purple lava, you are correct.
It's a little painful, actually, in that particular case. Though that is definitely not the worst palette shuffle I've seen. question on Spy side here will be, will the big bomb turn into something?
Not unlike the Ice Rod, this is one of those things that has shown up relatively early in the grand scheme of things, with the Pod and Thieves Town crystals being the ones required. So again, very possible from a logical perspective that there is something in play here.
Spy also decided to grab that mail this time. Thinking about it, after mirroring, or actually I think he saved and quit, he's probably going, you know, I probably should have picked that up.
Yeah, 50 minutes in, still on your first row of hearts, not really in danger of finishing it. You know, maybe that mail upgrade feels a little better now. But...
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you run across a lot of hearts and pieces of hearts, so skipping them definitely, in a lot of cases, is pretty good. But mail upgrades is something that I know a lot of runners like to pick up. You mentioned Spy and that flute, making it easy to turn into Mushroom. He's going a completely different route.
Well, tying it all in with the big bomb and still with the Dark World access here, so can get right back in, check Catfish, and then mirror over to the Zora area.
Yeah, oh, nope. He's looking. He knows he needs it. He is on the right track. Just keep going. Yep, that's right.
Turtle Rock seems to be full power rock tonight for Oro, has found Buttersword and Red Mail in there.
That's always nice.
Just need a couple of more shields to seal the deal.
Can you imagine if say both shields are on Laser Bridge? So Spy finding out Catfish was not helpful. The other thing is that Spy has enough rupees to actually check Zora. If Zora has an important item, Oro will not be back here for a while.
I'm holding off on saying something until the play concludes as to not commentator curse it.
Yeah.
But those were some very clean laser skips by Oro, now that all of them are done.
Yeah, they were very good. Okay. Oro going to be happy to find out that those bombs were on Zora. Nothing important to come back for. Yeah, you know, you were talking about the expensive bomb upgrade that was taken earlier. I think Spy just found a more expensive one.
Yes, he did. Sometimes the Scam Master is just going to prove why we call him that.
Oro will be very happy to know that he didn't get that. As you were mentioning earlier, with Spy might has isolated Catfish. Oro has super isolated Zora.
Spy's Meyer sees that Ether is in fact required here, which Oro has found, but Spy has not.
So, where was that Ether? Yeah, Super Bunny sounds right. Dark Death Mountain sounds correct, actually. So... Spy needs to head back up to Death Mountain.
While Oro needs to head to Spike Cave and looks to be heading in just that direction.
Spy's gonna check Desert first. Makes a lot of sense. It's completable. He's here. Why not?
You're here, it's here, maybe one of your remaining progression pieces is here. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, you're right next to a crystal dungeon you can complete. Go do it. That's basically the rule of running these games. Ooh, boots locked.
Yeah, that was never going to be a problem. Our access to this, I think, was all behind Dark World access, and the Moon Pearl was boots locked.
Yep. Definitely with the flute being in pod.
Ah, Professor Pixie is right. The book was in Waterfall. It's just everybody went and accessed that area from the Dark World, so I had Dark World on the brain.
No, that makes sense. Yes, we have the book. That's just not a. It's also not a way that a lot of runners actually like accessing desert, just because it takes so much longer.
You'd rather get to make the mire checks instead. And Ricky, the only things in TR of any importance so far as we know were that sword and the red mail.
Meanwhile, Spy did find some bombs in desert. I'm not quite sure if we found the other item.
Casual 55-minute Aegis closet check, or Sahasrarlan's closet check, rather.
Wrong one.
One of those elders.
You know what? The game just keeps you away from that area for so long. This tends to happen a lot more than people would think.
And so many times, the game can just put something for you in that Sphere 1 location.
Yes. It's just a big problem when the game gives you so many other items, so many other checks that you can do. Why go there without the bow to finish one of the other dungeons? It's by taking a few rounds on the landbow here, but using a combination of tempered swing or spins and fire rod gets the boss down.
There are so many runners out there who just make it look like, oh, you know, fire rod shot 6 times, and all of a sudden all of the land moles are just exploding and everything's gone wonderfully. Every time I try that, it kind of looks like what happened to Spy there. The land moles just go in crazy directions, all the hops are short, none of the fire rod shots land, and then you're out of magic and you're just trying to spin them with the sword.
Yeah, Spy definitely made it look easier than I make it look, so... It's a lot of these bosses look very easy when you see all these runners do it, and it's really not as easy as they make it look. Agina with the other elder with 50 rupees.
It was within a couple of minutes of each other. We got the names more or less in the right order. We'll call it good, right?
Both checks were done on screen, so we're okay. No. Spy, go back.
Spy has no time for you going back. It looks like Spy might be heading to clear out the moth really quick while considering future plays.
Could be. Makes sense. You can also check Ped while he's here. Could be a bit of a thought. Let's find out if those pendant dungeons are required. If they are, you can go do them right away.
It is interesting. I think the only thing that we could really be looking at there anymore would be hookshot.
Yeah. Hookshot would be good. He doesn't know where Ether is.
By simple density, I would think that Spy will be funneled back to the mountain to get Dark Mountain and TR if necessary in the near future.
I hope so.
You know, unless he wants to come out of this and do something like the Smith sequence. Which most runners just loathe, because it's slow and long and tends not to pay out. Except the times that it does, of course.
Smith's trade is definitely one of those things that doesn't pay off until it does, especially if you're doing it without the mirror. It feels like every time I see a runner skip it because they don't have mirror, it has something important, and vice versa.
Yeah, and then it's just mirror on purple chest and everyone goes home crying.
Yeah. Yeah. The big question at this point for the race is when does Spy go up to Death Mountain again? And where is that hookshot?
That first one is a really interesting question because Spy with a moth kill here in the next few seconds is going to take a brief crystal lead, you know. Going to have a couple of extra dungeons done, although Oro will go ahead and wipe out Helmasaur King in fairly short order, I would expect. But after that, Oro is going to be able to activate that flute, go to Meyer, and have the medallion in question to enter it.
Yeah. I will say that Spy's fight right there was... sorry, Mothula was not very kind in that fight. If Mothula hovers over those spikes, you can't do any damage. And Spy just didn't have a chance to get in there.
The moth unfortunately cheats. The spikes are coded as class 4 damage, which is the same that Tempered Sword spins and Butter Sword in any variety does normally. The rando devs have been kind to our runners and have coded the Butter Sword down to Butter Sword swings being Tempered Sword swings in that room so that you can actually damage the moth. Probably actually coded against the boss for things like boss shuffle. But it just means that anytime you knock the moth onto the spikes, the moth takes no damage. So you can sit there and swing and swing and swing and swing and swing, and if the moth just doesn't want to cooperate and get kinda near the middle of the room so you don't bounce it off the spikes, then it just keeps living.
And we do have Smith Chain coming up here.
This is interesting. I wonder if from Spy's perspective this is, I don't want to go and do an additional mountain climb that I may not be forced to.
Could be he's already gone up twice. No. He's only gone up once, but he's already gone up for once. And there's the crystal for Oro. That is 4.
Which leaves Spy with a lead of 1, but Oro, after activating that flute, will be able to do both Mire and Desert.
Yeah, I think Oro is going to be taking a little bit of a lead here, and I say lead not knowing where the hookshot is, and just a reminder that Rando is Rando, and that hookshot could be anywhere.
It could just be tucked away in this purple chest. We may find out in a minute.
Yep, it could also just very well be in Swamp.
Could be in Swamp. You could have to go fetch the green pendant off the Armos Knights and turn it into Sahasrara. There are options.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get a K45 check. Nope. Yeah, I think we're going to see Bombos tablet at the end of this too, which is something we have not yet seen fully.
Yeah, from Spy's perspective, even if the hook does come out here, you know, without the ether in hand, Bombos tablet would be a check anywhere.
Yep. Clear this whole area out before going up the mountain. Thing is, with hookshot, there really aren't that many checks on Dark Death Mountain. There's 3 left.
The 2 in Super Bunny, the 1 bonkable in Hookshot Cave, and then of course the 5 items in Pendant TR rather. I was going to say Thieves Town, which is definitely not on Dark Mountain.
Well, it depends on the shuffle you're using, but in this tournament, yes, no, it cannot be there.
That is true. I suppose in Cross Keys you could in fact find Thieves Town up there at the Turtle Rock entrance, but that's not what we're playing today. But Spy is heading for the mountain, getting bodied by rocks and dead rocks all the way up, unfortunately, but does seem to be heading in the right direction here.
Yeah, chat's talking about it, but the big question now here is, ooh, Spy took a little bit of a jump there. Link is very strong, being able to jump that far down and not get hurt. Just gotta say. But, like, what do you do if it's not in Mire, right? Do you check that front check of Swamp? Do you just go to Eastern or Ice first? Where do you go?
Yeah, there are schools of thought there. Do you want to make the density play? Do you want to make the seed is not going to be that terrible? I should probably just go ahead and check the Crystal Dungeon play. You know, do you want to do some kind of crazy gamble and go over to Ice Palace? All of these are possible.
Spy also showing us that, of course, the second we said there's 3 checks in the overworld, he goes, no, there's another one. There's the Ether Tablet here. So Spy definitely in the right place. If he takes this right to Mire, this could get very close between the 2 runners. We do have a question in chat about if one of the main tournament qualifiers had a hammer and first chest of Swamp and the hookshot and hammer pegs. I do not remember if hookshot was in hammer pegs, but yes, I was on commentary in the qualifier where the hammer was in the first chest of pod. That was an unfortunate race for everyone except the 2 runners that decided to check it super early.
Yeah, those hammers in first chest Swamp are a thing every once in a while. And actually, there was a day that I had a couple of races in the group stage, and I watched a couple of other races. Of the 4 that I watched / played, only one of them did not have a hammer. No, it was a hookshot. It was a hookshot in the first 4 of Swamp.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say, but Oro does pick up that extra crystal. We are now at 5.
Yeah, 5 aside at 1 hour and 7 minutes. And Spy has found the Ether Medallion and is going to flute somewhere.
I assume this has to be the Misery Mire play, right? So Spy going to get it into Misery Mire first. Also sets up for Spooky.
It's reasonably free to set up for, a little more difficult to hold on to in some circumstances, depending on what items you have. But as long as you can carry it all the way through, you get to save a good 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah, I think the big thing for a lot of newer runners is actually remembering to set it up in the first place as well. Because you have to do it right there, right after you flute in.
It eventually gets to be habit, and you go about setting it up even if you don't have the fire rod.
Well, it is a good habit. It doesn't really lose you any time to set it up. But
yeah, you have to wait out your iframes anyway to be able to take that portal transition, so yeah, there's no reason not to set it up even if you don't have the fire rod. The fire rod may just be in here in the seed in question.
That's true. With the boots, it's relatively easy to not lose if you're paying attention to it, but again, in high pressure situations and races, plenty of racers, including very good racers, will just forget or accidentally deactivate it. So it looks like, yeah, Spy's got a few second lead here now, because Oro didn't continue to Meyer. I mean, Spy already had a few second lead, but Spy's lead is growing because Oro didn't go to Meyer, and I'm a little confused.
Apparently wanted to get a site check on Highlight Island there really quick. That is a check that I find that I often forget if I don't make it while I'm doing the other flipper things, and yeah, you know, it's a good thought, because if it's just sitting there, you get to stop full clearing the game.
That is true. That's definitely a way to get into go mode and then just say, hey, I don't have to. If I get a go mode Meyer, I can just get the big key and get the heck to the boss. Speaking of the big key in Meyer, there it is. So I was actually kind of curious what Spy would do here if he would just go to the boss at that point. I'm not sure how many items he's actually found.
He's found one. It was a full heart container.
And it's interesting. We'll see if he goes to the boss or if he decides to keep looking. He does keep looking. I know there's some runners now that'll just take that to the boss and come back in if they don't find it.
That's a play that I like, because that boss has a crystal that you need anyway and may just have the second item. If so, you get to save all of this time that you've been checking other things.
Yeah. Oops. That bonk is an unfortunate time loss. But yeah, this dungeon, as you can see, especially when something goes wrong, this dungeon takes quite a while to clear through. There's no easy way just to route it. And there's that path. That path is really tight if you don't have the... Okay. Spy's not happy about that particular play, I think. And it is on the boss.
Well, it could be in cutscene chest.
Oh, you're right. We haven't seen cutscene chest. Well, I think at this point, you check cutscene chest, right? You've done the rest.
Well, I'm still on the go kill the boss first faction, so no, I would go kill the boss, but, you know, this is Spy's race to run, and Spy has decided that cutscene chest before boss is the way he wants to roll tonight.
The thing is that I feel like if you're going to make that play and go straight to the boss, you just do it immediately before checking everything on right side.
And that's a fair play as well.
At this point, he spent the time, and he's basically, if his opponent goes straight to Vidi, he's lost time on it anyway. So it could be the thought of, hey, let me go full check this just in case my opponent did that. It is on the boss, but Oro is also not going straight to Vidi. And this is what we're going to talk about. You see how much... You'll actually see a little bit of this. Oro is on right side, but you're going to see Spy probably get pretty close to the end of this dungeon before Oro even gets through the rest of this. Unless Oro decides, hey, I'm just going to go to Vidi from here.
I think Oro is ready for boss time.
Ooh. Okay, so this just became pretty tight. Up. Spy. No! I unfortunately did get it? Oh.
It appeared to get it, had to backtrack to get it.
Did get it, yep. Okay, nice. Keeping Spooky. Gonna get Spooky through. Now, it wasn't paying attention to Oro. Oro set it up as well.
Having a little cleaner time of that first room, just had to wait the spike out a little bit.
But a little bit slower in room 2. We're getting cape strats here on Spy's side. So little thing of if you're swinging your cape, your magic meter doesn't go down. I did it. Swinging your sword. I think it said swinging your cape.
Well, the cape probably swings too.
I assume so. But Wow. The video on both screens right now. The question is this hookshot? If it is, we're going to get a really close execution race all the way through. It is not.
It is crystal number 6 for both runners, just a little south of an hour and 14 minutes, but the hookshot hunt continues.
Chat informing us that swinging your cape is a Mario strat, not a Zelda strat.
Yeah, that's legitimate. And no, neither of our runners decided to avail themselves of Fishbone Room this evening.
Okay, so now what? Eastern Ice Swamp? What do you do?
This is looking like Swamp from Spyweaver. I think is going over to check Agina while they're still in the area.
Yeah, the Agina trick definitely makes sense. You don't want to last location it over here. That's going to mean you lost the race.
Yes, we are just missing the hookshot for go mode here.
Okay, here we go. We're going to find out from Spy if it's in Swamp. Can you imagine left side Swamp hookshot? That would just be a seed.
Vanilla hookshot with the big key in its vanilla location too, because, well, Rando's gonna rando sometimes, and that means it'll put things in their vanilla location, which is probably the last place you would ever think to look.
Oh, both runners choosing the Swamp check. If it's not in here, do you do Ice Palace first or Eastern first?
In this situation, I think I do Ice Palace first, and here's the reasoning. The bow got you into Crystal Pod. It got you your, the flute was in there. It wasn't required to get the flute. The flute was in that first chest and bow locked the whole thing. But meanwhile, flippers, they got you your mitts, which is your way into Ice Palace. So take the play there. That would be my general thought process on picking one versus the other, but, by the same token, green pendant there on the Armos Knights means there's one extra item worth of density there.
Yeah, that extra density could make a difference. We'll see. We're actually seeing Oro go for the Pyramid Fairy first. This makes sense, though. Again, if you can just find Hookshot here, you don't want to go into Swamp twice. So if the idea is to go into Swamp, you really don't want to do it before you check this. There is actually the consideration that Ice Palace could be a hookshot locked on part of it, and we are looking for a hookshot.
Yeah, and we have had chat weighing in on both sides of that particular concept, but it looks like Oro is going to go ahead and head for that Zora play.
Ooh,
going to be spending some time and a whole lot of money for just a handful of bombs.
He's also only, or they are also only one bomb away from max.
While Spy has found half magic here in Swamp, it's a nice safety to have, especially when you've got the cape on hand. It makes cannon pretty free. I bet you he would trade it for a hookshot though, right this moment.
Yeah. Now, Oro, where did they go? This looks like a flute setup.
I guess this is a head check, maybe?
It's gotta be because of that routing. I was thinking Blacksmith's Chain, but since they went all the way to the left, this has to be a ped check.
Yeah, and it could then parlay into a Blacksmith Chain check, but yeah.
The thing is, there's no good option. When you start talking about Pendant Eastern, Pendant Ice, Blacksmith's Chain, or Dipping Swamp looking for the hookshot, none of those things are things you actually want to do.
And I suppose from Oro's perspective, already with one pendant in hand, if it's a Ped Seed, might feel a little ahead of the game.
Oh, that's definitely true. Having done Turtle Rock, not knowing if their opponent has done Turtle Rock, they could be thinking, hey, I could have an advantage here if it is on Ped. Yeah, we are seeing
Vanilla hookshot. Who called it? Ooh. Spy, you're going to have to hookshot back and get that hookshot locked small key there, buddy.
And was the big key? I don't remember where the big key was. Was it on right or left side?
It almost had to be, because otherwise you would check the big chest before you go over there.
Yeah, makes sense. We are going to see a diver down glitch right here. Will he use bombs or will he use Maria? Bombs.
Yeah, bombs have a few different lineups. They work all pretty well. The only thing is, if you miss your initial jump in and the proper lineup of the jump back out, you only get one shot per bomb. So, having failed it a couple of times, it's going to switch over to Canvas Mario, which is reusable, and go ahead and get it there after a couple of more jumps in.
Yep. Samaria is definitely the easier one to use in terms of being more consistent. Bombs is, I think, a little bit faster, so.
Still checking chests that are right in the way. From Spy's perspective, Buttersword could be here. We know that that's just tucked away in Turtle Rock. Could be another bottle in the way, could be silvers.
I think he's looking for silvers. I don't think he's too concerned with getting either red mail or gold sword, but the silvers would really help right now. So Oro is now in the right area. Will they go to swap? I think so. Meanwhile, Spy taking down this boss.
Hook slash, hook slash, hook slash, and then a lamp? No, a fire rod. Okay. I wondered for a split second there if there was some kind of brand new lamp strat for Phase 2 Argus that I was unaware of.
So, Spy is... Actually, we didn't really mention it, but Spy did go into Go mode there and is heading up to GT. So there is a game here we like to play.
That is all 7 crystals in hand. Spy on the way up to the mountain for one final climb here. So everybody can make a guess, because in the basement of Ganon's tower there are 22 possible locations where Ganon has hidden away that big key today. Spy is going to have to find that key to climb the tower to have an argument with a wizard. Without arguing with that wizard, he may not face off against the big pig, and well, without doing that, you don't get to win the game. And being Game 1 of the best of 3, I bet that Spy is very, very interested in being the first one to do that this evening.
Yeah. Do you have a normal guess that you put in?
I don't. I just kind of pick and choose as the seed leads me. Something like 8, maybe. I could see 8 this time. I've only been right twice.
Well, I always say 8, so you and I are actually on the same page. So, the ZSR bot has been activated, so get your bets in with !bet and your number. will close things once Spy does get into GT.
And here's Oro making the play that they do need to make, is going to go ahead and drain the dam there, flood the swamp, and is going to probably not be the happiest player in the world finding that vanilla location hookshot here in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they will be feeling very similar to how Spy did when he found it. Spy has no idea where Oro is. Spy does not know that Oro did all of Turtle Rock, because that's pretty much the difference between our runners right here.
That's pretty close to exactly the difference between our runners here, which is kind of crazy when you stop and think about it.
Oh, 3.
Right
Boots
near
required.
The big key, just hanging out there on the torch. Boots required all the way down this seed.
Yep. We needed the library item. We needed them to finish Desert. We needed them to finish GT. That was 3.
That was number 3. Lucky number 3.
So congratulations to everybody who guessed 3, and our bot is congratulating the great Sir Nico? I'm going to apologize if I got that wrong.
That sounds right. The great Sir Nico, congratulations. That was a bet on number 3, the winning bet today.
Yeah, it's the bot will congratulate the first person to get it, but I do congratulate everybody else anyways. While we watch Spy do the climb and Oro go look for that big key. Because we don't have hookshot, we didn't get to see left side diver down. Since we needed to get the key.
Which is unfortunate, but a very vanilla turn of events.
Yep. Theoretically, you could still do it if you wanted to walk down. I'm not sure if that's faster or not. To do the bomb setup and then diver down anyway. I feel like that would be slower.
It might be. Because you're going to spin the couple of screen transitions, letting the, you've banked the explosion, then you have to actually let it go off, so you have to screen transition twice.
Yeah.
Probably not actually faster at that point.
Yeah, it's just something I hadn't thought about until this moment.
I'm sure somebody in the community's already timed it out, but I'm not aware of what the actual answer is.
Oh yeah, that's the great thing about this community. A lot of these types of things have been timed out. That's why I definitely say if anyone who's watching is interested in running this particular Zelda game, definitely go check out the Discord to get some comments and assistance with any questions you have.
I already threw a couple of the most satisfying rooms in the game with those Wiz Robes and the Canis Maria. You just lay the block down and watch them all explode.
Yep. That second room is a little bit trickier just because you need to time killing the 4th Wiz Robe.
But it feels so good to get right.
Yes, when you actually get it right.
Spy still having the occasional look at chests that are in the way, again, probably just hoping the silvers happen to pop out.
I mean, if you stop to check a few chests and silvers end up in any one of them, you save time. Even with Tempered Sword, you save time. And as they're here, are they in the last chest of the game?
The ultimate test of the game with some bombs. Well, that's the thing. Bombs were kind of an early and often running theme of this seed. We had them on the Scam Lord. We saw somebody buy them out of the bomb shop with the, as opposed to the big bomb.
Ooh, I think we're getting the one frame clip from Oro. Yep.
It looks really neat. I have no idea how to do it.
It's not that bad. You just need to make sure you get your diagonal input exactly correct, so it's easier to use a sort buffer or a menu buffer there. There is a one frame movement into an exact diagonal input, which can be a little tricky. Good fight from Spy though, on Aga 2.
Making very short work of the wizard, and you know, that pig appears kind of a ghostly pig in the grand scheme of things, but turns into a bat to fly away.
The chat mentioning that Oro forgot to go grab the hookshot key as well, so both the runners did it. That's just, it's really easy to do that when hookshot's actually in this dungeon, because the first thing you do when you enter that room is you get that key every single time. So when you find the item you want, you go, hey, I'm just going to go straight to the boss. Wait. Big difference here is Spy is on tempered, so we're going to see a little bit of a different fight. It does take some extra swings.
I think he was one slash short of getting the one cycle phase 1 there, but this is a very nice spot for phase 2. You just get to stand in the corner and spin to win.
Yep, 6 spins should do it. Or 12 slashes, but we're definitely going to see spins. Was that 6?
That was far more than 6. I think he did 7 or 8 spins.
Oh. I must have looked at Oro for a second. Because Oro is on the way up the mountain. Oh, right, double spins. Okay, so I did see 4, and they were all doubles, which is 8. That makes sense. Right.
That is the convenience of Ganon standing one tile away from one of the walls.
Yeah, here his silvers are in GT. Spy goes for the torch glitch. This makes a lot of sense. When you don't have silvers, you definitely want torch glitch. Well, at this point, it kind of makes sense that they're in GT. They were pretty much in GT or in a pendant dungeon. Eastern or Ice. Just need 12 spins here in total.
Yep, Spy waiting for Ganon to go to a nicer position, still unfortunately misses that first spin. I feel like sometimes you think you've got it and you just don't quite.
Triples can be funky.
And you know, with half magic, it's still pretty free to use the fire rod here.
Oh,
plus I think he's got a green potion in the bank.
For sure, and I think he does. And the thing is that he doesn't know that Oro is all of GT behind. So he's a little worried. But doesn't need to be.
But there he is, 12 spins into the pig in phase 4. The pig explodes, the sword raised in the air while Spy waits out that fanfare playing and steps across the bridge for the victory.
Get your GGs in chat for Spy, who finishes with a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 6 seconds. We also have Spy with us in the booth. Welcome in GG.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, good game to you. That was a thing. How about that Mitz location?
Oof, I'm just glad I decided to leave as soon as I got the boots, so I left, what was like 5 or 6 things up that way, especially getting the mushroom what I did, so... I mean, it didn't feel too bad. It kind of did, but it didn't, since I felt like I had enough to go up there at that time and grab them, so... I'll take it.
Yeah, it was really interesting. You were missing the mitts, but Oro was missing the bow. Because they didn't do Spike Cave. So it was just both of you running around the map, and we were all wondering which one would catch up to the other's location first. I'll say that the biggest difference between you two in this particular race is that you did not do Turtle Rock, but Oro did.
Oof. I kind of saw that it could go in there and thought about it. It's like, I just pulled ether for Meyer. Let's go there instead, because the number of times I've seen hookshot and Meyer locked behind the boots is just disgusting.
And that was also Oro looking for the bow still at the time, so, from their perspective, the bow could have just been tucked away in Pendant Turtle Rock, and you already having that and having gotten the flute, once you get the ether medallion, you think, well, I can just go over to the Meyer area now.
Yeah, flute in hand just makes that a quick dash over there. If I'd wanted or needed to go back to TR after that, I mean, sure, it's a little bit of a climb, but yeah, it just sank all that time into Smith chains. I'm like, yeah, let's not today.
So, did you consider dipping any of the pendant dungeons before going into Swamp?
I thought about it. I gave Ice a sideways glance, but then I was like, let's just try Swamp. I mean, if it's here, good on me. I can just finish this out. If not, I mean, oh well. It was kind of at that point I decided, well, this is the play I'm going to make, that I'm going to live or die on here.
Well, it was obviously the right play today.
Shout out to that big key on the left side with the hook vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize.
My EDM called that exact situation.
Well, I was close. I was saying vanilla big key to vanilla hookshot, so I was not quite correct, but I was fairly close.
One chest off. I mean, close enough. It started feeling bad when I pulled the big key, then pulled those arrows. I think they were. And I'm like, oh, please don't. And thankfully, it was the hook shot, and it's like, oh, huge sigh of relief.
Oro showing a little bit of tech there on screen while we have the interview of using the lamp over the gap to light the right torch in the last torch room in GT. Ran out of magic for the fire rod shot.
It's a little easier than it immediately looks. You do have several pixels worth of leeway with that lamp flame that comes out. But you do still have to be a little careful, because you can throw yourself off the edge accidentally.
I think you also have to know that that's possible. It's not tech we normally see very often. Oro did find the red mail and the gold sword in Turtle Rock, actually. Spy, I know we saw that you were checking a lot of the checks on the way up. We assumed you were looking for silvers. Was that correct?
Yeah, I just opened up one or two on the way up because I'm like, you know what, I'm passing by here. The time I'm going to put into just opening up these one or two chests is going to be minimal, especially if I do end up finding the silvers. It'll easily pay off since I'm walking by them, so I mean, may as well.
How did that hint feel from Ganon that they were in GT?
Yeah, pretty standard. Usually they're buried in like rando room or something weird like that. So with an early big key, I mean, it is what it is.
Tucked away behind Arsomos, where you have to blow all of your sticks, killing the boss so that you can have the silvers, and then you're on about the same number of sticks relatively that you would have anyway.
Yeah, or that, yep.
So speaking of silvers and Ganon, do have Oro dropping into the Ganon fight. Actually, my India was doing very well today with predictions. Even predicted the blind punt before it happened.
Well, when you've played the game long enough, you have to be right every once in a while anyway. I've stopped clock being right twice a day and all that.
That's just the nature of rando. That's the nature of, well, maybe hookshots in swamp. Let's go.
Yep. Oro about to be on phase 4 here. If Ganon stops teleporting. Oh. Gets the freeze frame on Ganon before lighting the torch because of the location. A little bit of safety.
You can actually hold a spin into that, and when you just let go of the button and clear the text box with something else, you've got a 3 in 4 chance, I think it is, of having the spin go off and hit Ganon. The other 1 in 4 is if Ganon remains in the same place, then you turn him silver instead.
On this phase 4, Oro will have to still get the full 12 spins in, just like Spy. Unfortunately, Gold Sword not helping out too much in this particular phase. And there goes Ganon.
A second big explosion, another sword raised high in the air while that fanfare plays. Oro is going to cross the bridge here momentarily.
Get your GGs in chat for Oro, who does finish with a time of 1:39.29.
Yep, good game to both of our runners. They put on a great show. Spy, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to watch. To Oro as well. That was a good game. It really kind of came down to that gamble into TR.
Yeah, that was sure something. I'm just glad there was nothing sitting in independent dungeons this time that ended up biting me.
Yeah, looking at a time difference of 7 minutes, that 7 minutes pretty much is that Turtle Rock dip.
Yeah, you take that out and it's probably 1.5 to 2, and at that point, you know, swings go one way or the other. That tells me keep a lookout for game 2, folks.
Speaking of Game 2, looking at the schedule, that is on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so look forward to that. Hopefully we can get that restreamed, but I will be going to work at that hour, so I'm not going to be around to do it. And any last words for everybody? Oro will not be joining us in the interview. Also, the collection rate, Spy, 137. That's nuts. That's really low.
That's what happens when you get to skip about 25 checks in GT.
Yeah, actually, just even looking at the time, a 130 in game, 132 overall is a pretty fast time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, from me, I'll say, if you have not had enough Challenge Cup rando in your life this evening, Quiz Bowl versus Tony T. Young is coming up here at the top of the hour, probably plus that 10-minute delay, and then half an hour after that, Game 2. That's a Game 3. Assuming that they're having that Game 3, I have not checked and seen if they're still on schedule for that. But Game 2, which we know will be happening because it is not a Game 3, Dapper Wormman versus Kasten here at 9:30 Eastern. That's also not, I believe, restreamed, but Game 1 between them was a tie, so they had to replay Game 1, which I believe Kasten won by a couple of minutes. So this is the official Game 2 now. If you want something exciting in your rando life this evening, allow me to suggest that. But otherwise, this has been my NDM, Ricky of Kokiri, doing the restream, all that background work that we need. Professor Pixie pushing all the buttons, making sure the items show up on the tracker for you. My co-com has been Zethno. Zethno, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great coming with you as well.
All right, and with that,
Thanks
we're gonna...
for having us.
Oh, sorry,
and, good, no problem. Thanks for having us. Good game to Oro as well, and thanks, of course, Ricky, for putting this on.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Hope you had a fantastic time. As me and DM said, there are a few matches happening. We're not restreaming any of them, unfortunately, but, you know, if you want to check out their personal channels, by all means, do that. And we will check you all later. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.